SDS Roncon de Computers.com. Otro video para ti hoy. Quick video. Postfix mail stuck in queue troubleshooting. So all of a sudden on my email server, I was not receiving any email just out of the blue. I had not installed any server updates recently, and it's not like something that maybe perhaps a update would have caused like overnight or immediately. And so I logged into my control panel, and I noticed that there were some email messages in the deferred queue. So you can click on the link in the description box below of this YouTube video that'll take you to my website anetcomputers.com. I have full written instructions, troubleshooting tips to try to help you solve the Postfix mail stuck in queue problemo. It's just all of a sudden it occurred. I checked the mail queue and I noticed some that were deferred. So quickly, I can't make this video too long because I have bandwidth restrictions at this dumpster fire, also known as a hotel. Oh, speaking of dumpster fires, that fucking Gutenberg editor in WordPress is so atrocious to me. I hate it so much, and I am converting my website from WordPress to fucking static HTML because I've had it. Anyways. Alright, so some quick troubleshooting tips. We can go over my blog post now. Quickly. Now, this deals with Postfix mail server. You're going to have to know command line. You're going to have to know how to access your control panel. You know what I'm saying? Depending on your control panel, I don't know what control panel you're using. Quite fucking frankly, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? A control panel, whatever you use to access your virtual private server or your dedicated server or whatever. You may see these options with Postfix. Refresh, process queue, remove everything, mail drop, incoming, hold, active, and deferred. I'm not going to go into detail on every single option because that would be a very long video. What you can do to quickly troubleshoot is try to click on the process queue. That is a manual way that tells your Postfix email server to start fucking getting off its lazy ass, quit being Gutenberg, quit being WordPress, quit being atrocious, quit being terrible like these Americans. Oh, there may be some overtime. I got cussed at again by 2 customers on this third-party website where I earn supplemental income. Again, within the last week, I've been cussed at twice. All right. Never ever enter information technology as a help desk or a desk side, or don't help people. Learn how to program, learn how to code, learn how to become self-employed and make a lot of money programming. You know what I'm saying? All right. Click on process queue. That was a temporary fix. As soon as I clicked on the process queue button, which you can also, this is on Linux too, so you should know that my blog post has command line that is for Linux. You can process the queue manually on the command line, but if you log into your control panel, it should also give you the option. You know what I'm saying? I immediately started receiving email when I clicked on process queue. However, the problem did not fix itself after that. Because when I checked my email again today, or the next time I tried to check my email, no bueno. Nothing. I hate email. I don't like wasting time reading email. I don't like wasting time sending email. I don't like wasting time troubleshooting email. You know what I'm saying? But however, that still is not, to me, a proper fix. It's a temporary fix. It's a workaround, whatever language you want to use. Whatever colloquial, linguistics you want to brainwash your sheeple. Speaking of brainwashing, are the YouTube technology shills ever going to help people, or are they going to get political? Oh my God, New York City is failing because the governor is a Democrat. Well, no. The left and the right are the same. Politics is rigged. They're all criminal, corrupt crooks. But the YouTube technology shills, instead of helping people with their information technology problems, they make videos turning it into politics. All right. What else can you check? If you really need access to your email, go ahead and try to get the server to process the email. Now, what you can also do is you could refresh and just observe your email server. Are there a lot of emails that are in the incoming queue? Are they in the hold queue? Are they in the active queue? Are they in the deferred queue? You can also remove everything. Now, caveat emptor. You will probably want to read the emails first. You can go into the incoming, the hold, the active, and the deferred queues, and you can look at and view each individual email that's on your email server and look at it actually. Now, command line, you can read everything. Depending on the control panel, it is a little bit limited, but you can view potentially the internet protocol address, the sender, from, and possibly also the email message, the email address that the message is being processed. You know what I'm saying? So caveat emptor. Go in the queues and look to see if there are emails that you need. Because once you remove them from the mail queue, from either the control panel or when you administer Postfix via the command line, they're gone, basically gone forever. You know what I'm saying? But you may be receiving a lot of spam. It could be a lot of spam that is causing a problem. It could be the assholes and the bitches on the internet that are trying to circumvent your email server security, or they're trying to use your email server so that they can send spam. There can be many different reasons why you're having this problem. Okay, I have to keep an eye on the time. Okay, 7 minutes. I have about 8 minutes. Okay. Back to the blog post. All right, what else can we go into? Okay, be careful removing messages. Be careful. If you are flooded with a bunch of spam, then that is where you may want to, now when you select on email messages that have not been processed yet, or that may be processed, the different queues, the incoming, hold, active, deferred, you can view each message single at a time. You can also remove them one at a time by clicking on remove selected. So you select a message, click on remove selected, depending on your control panel. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can select more than one email message at a time, like a group of them, and then click on remove selected. That will remove all of them. But I'm warning you, I did not tell you to delete email. I just told you that maybe if you're getting bombarded with spam, that may be what is causing the problem, and you may want to remove the messages in the queue. All right? You're not going to sue me. Every day, well, not every day, every week, every month, I get yelled at. I get threatened with lawsuits. I have not received a death threat yet on this third-party website, but I want to expose this website badly because there's a lot of crookedness on this website. I earn income. It is disgusting how we technicians continue to get abused and nothing ever happens. Nobody's held accountable. All they have to do is install a filter, a word filter that would filter out. That's overtime. Let's get back to this. What else can you troubleshoot? You can view my ad. Okay, let's see. You can process a queue. That could be temporary. You could try that. You could also empty the deferred queue. But again, look at the messages to make sure that you're not, removing any messages that are legitimate, okay? Because you're actually looking at the email messages that are incoming and outgoing. All right? If processing it manually by clicking on process queue does not fix your problem and it's only temporary, then move on in my blog post. You want to look at your etc resolve.configuration file. Let me give you a warning. I did not add some of this because I did not want to make this blog post too technical. I might have to go back and edit it, abridge it, amend it, because I want to add some. Here's a warning. Whenever you fuck with configuration files on Linux or really any operating system, you may want to get in the habit of making a backup. On Linux, it's real easy. MV for move, space, the path, the file, and then give the new path, and then give the name of the new file. And then you could add a dot back or a dot SAV. My point is, you may want to get into the habit of always backing up any configuration files that you fuck with. In case you fuck it up, it only takes one line, and that email server may not work correctly. The next time that that Postfix needs to start up again, it may not start up because you fucked with the config file and you fucked up one of the lines. All it takes is a misspelling, or I'm not making this up, or the wrong character, a dot, a comma instead of a dot. That's all it takes, is one little mistake. All right. But you want to look at the /etc/resolve.configuration file. I gave you an example of what it could look like and what it really should look like. It may not look the same on your server. Now, you want to make sure that each entry has spaces where they are appropriate. If you notice this example, it's the loopback. It's 127.0.0.1 space localhost dot local domain. If there was a missing space between the 127 and the local host, and there was no space there, that would fuck up because it's not acceptable. That would be one line. Those are two separate entries. Okay. The next one, ::1 space localhost dot local domain. Those are acceptable. Those are acceptable variables. And then this one that governmentsucks.com. Yes, it does. And I gave you an example, and your IP address. I'm not going to give you my fucking email server IP address. Fuck you if you think I'm going to, no. Space myserver.governmentsucks.com, or whatever your domain is. It could be government or worshipgovernment.com. As you Americans, that's all you do is worship government. And then you're like the YouTube technology shills that politicize everything. You're not helping people with their tech problems. You're talking about politics. And you're blaming one bureaucrat versus a different one. One has a giraffe logo, the other one has a tiger logo. And, politics is so stupid. It's all rigged. They're the same. The left and the right are the same. All right. And then space, and then the local IP address, which is the local loopback address, 127.0.0.1. Now, WordPress, they fucked up. This should all be on one line. They fucked it up and formatted it as two lines. No. In the actual etc-resolve.conf file, CONF for configuration, that's actually on one line. And there is a space after the 127 address, and then you have auto reply dot myserver.governmentsucks.com, or whatever your domain is, or however your etc-resolve.configuration file. My point is, look for obvious errors. You know what I'm saying? That could be causing your problem. The mail server is looking in the etc-resolve.configuration file for an address. Well, where do I send this email? Where do you want me to send it? You got to tell me. Come on. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm dumb. No, well, you know what I'm saying. Are you sending it to a local address so that your local mail server processes whether it's a send or a receive, or are you using an external email server to process your mail? So Another file that you can check is actually, well, another command. It's not technically a file, but, well, actually there is a file, but I'm not going to go there because it's getting technical, and I'm under time constraints. Type in ifconfig. This is on Linux. Now, when you enter in ifconfig, and I gave you an example of a wrong entry in your etcresolve.conf file. It's missing a space, okay? The ifconfig. It tells you about your local network connection or your network connections on the server. It should show you the loopback address, and it should also tell you about your WAN or LAN address. And it will include your server address, and I'm not going to ever tell you that. Well, duh. So just run the ifconfig and look to see. It should kind of match what is in your etcresolve.configuration. It's not going to be the exact same, but for an example, if the server IP in the etc config file is different than the IP address when you run ifconfig, that could be the problem right there. It could be a configuration problem. That could be, you know what I'm saying, a clue. All right? What is next? Another place that you can look is the log files. Now, I wrote this blog post for Linux. However, there are different distributions. The log file for Postfix may not be in this exact location, but you can look. Look under the /var/log directory. Look for the mail log. And it's spelled with 2 L's. Mail, log, no spaces. Now, I gave you 2 quick commands to view the log file. Tail -f, mail log. That will show you the last, I think, 10 lines in that log file. That could be a quick one. You know what I'm saying? To view the entire log file, you would type in vi space mail log. Now, vi is an editor. You can use Emacs, or you could use another editor. My point is that you want to use an editor, and these are command lines, okay? VI and then mail log, or Emacs and then mail log, or however, whatever editor you use, or however you use your editor, command line. Now, when it comes to log files through a control panel, you can view them, but it's like a pain in the ass. But that is another option. Your control panel, whether it's cPanel or any other one, may have the ability to view the log file within the control panel. That's another way. That might be easier if you're not familiar with command line. But I highly encourage you to learn command line. All right? So my point is that look for the log file for Postfix, which might be a good chance that it's /var/log, okay? And now, let me give you some warnings about the mail log. There could be a lot of false positives, or there's a lot of logs that are dealing with security. There's a lot of assholes and bitches on the internet that are trying to circumvent your mail server. They're trying to use it so that they can use your server to send spam, or they're trying to hack in. Excuse me, political correctness. You're dealing with YouTube. YouTube are censors. Susan Wojcicki should have been fired a long time ago. Google, and did you know that the CIA funded Google via the National Science Foundation? Anyways, if you talk about certain topics on YouTube, you may get your channel terminated. I did not use the H word. That was a I'm going to blame it on. That was a YouTube problem, or I don't know what that was. That was the internet just fucked up. I did not talk about helping you circumvent security. I'm trying to warn you about computer security. Okay? But there are assholes and bitches that may try to circumvent your server. So there's going to be a lot of those logs. Those could be kind of considered the false positives with regards to you're trying to troubleshoot why your Postfix email server is not processing the email messages automatically like it's done for the last decade. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you check your email and then there's nothing. And your TPS report is due on time. That asshole and that bitch at that corporation that you're working for that is very criminal and corrupt and crooked, and they allow the employees or the contractors or the self-employed like myself to get abused verbally. Well, no email. So you want to look in the log file for logs that detail, that might have some clues, they might have some tips, there might be some error messages on the reason why your Postfix email server is not processing the mail. You have to manually process it. Okay. Anything else? I think I am... Oh, I'm beyond. I'm on 5 minutes overtime. I cannot talk. I have terrible bandwidth at this dumpster fire of a hotel. I have to go to another one, or I have to provide my own internet now because they fucked us over. We had really fast internet at this hotel, and then all of a sudden they took it away, and now we got fucking like dial-up internet. But it's close to dial-up. It's just a total atrocious joke. All right. In overtime, quickly, within the last 2 weeks, I've been cussed at twice on this third-party website where I earn supplemental income. Going mentally ill. One person told me, he said, what was it? He used the F word. Whenever they start cussing, I warn them. I ask them nicely, please refrain from adult language. These goddamn Americans, which are most of my customers, are emotional. Americans are fueled by emotions because they refuse to use logic. When people start cussing, generally they get emotional, and then no, I don't put up with that. You're not going to abuse me. You do, but I'm not going to allow it. I asked one individual, please refrain from using adult language. They were, fuck this, fuck that. And then they responded today saying, fuck you. I asked them nicely, please do not use abusive adult language. What did they respond with? Fuck you. I fired them. Means I don't have to deal with them ever again. However, on this website, I've been stalked. I've had people that I fired because I did not want to deal with their abusive bullshit. And they tried to open up a ticket and then assign it to me. Well, I quickly closed that ticket. Another client within the last week said that my service was fucking horrible or useless. He said, you're fucking useless. Now, on this website, what I do is when I make my videos, I write detailed instructions telling these motherfuckers how to fix their problem. I give them links. I give them a contact form. I tell them how to chat with an online agent. I give them telephone numbers. I also give them detailed instructions on how to solve the problem. I also give proof. And yet these motherfuckers constantly respond, and then they harass us, and then a lot of times all I do is I have templates, and I send the original message with all the instructions well written, well documented, links, and all the information that they would ever need. And yet after one message they get belligerent, and they're like, well, your information is fucking worthless. I fired that motherfucker too. Adios.